We live.
What's up? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, y'all. Welcome to another episode of The Soulful Stir. I'm Diamond Symoné.
And I'm Tash.
You know, Tash, I know we talked a little bit before getting on air. You said that you didn't have much to share for you didn't have any good news for this week, but I'll just kick it off with some good news. So I actually got the green light for a project that I'm heading at work, which I'm really excited about. I got the green light a little bit ago, like a while ago, probably like a month or so, but we've been trying to like work out the details of like the space and the budget and floor plan, stuff like that. But essentially I am heading a project, a mental health initiative, if you will, to bring to my organization, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's been a long time coming. I didn't think that it was gonna happen at first, but you know, I had to persevere a little bit and just keep coming back and let me try asking a different way, or let me see if I work this plan this way. So that's my good news to report. I'm really excited. We are hitting the ground running and getting this up and running by June. It is going to be a wellness room for people to retreat to, and it will also double as a nursing station for mothers to have a private space to go and pump. So that's my good news to report.
That sounds very good. I believe that will benefit quite a few people. So I'm excited for that.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Let's jump into mind, body, and balance. I just want to say that this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. As we all know, there's so many layers to mental health and what falls under the light of wellness as it relates to mental health. I just want to encourage everyone that's listening, including ourselves, to make sure that we're taking time and making space for ourselves in our busy everyday lives. Do something nice for yourself this week and prioritize rest, because rest is essential. I feel like we hear that all the time, but a lot of people don't really act on it and really live in that.
It's funny that you say that, because today I had to talk to the lady, aka I had therapy today. And I literally said it to my therapist. I told her that I have realized that I am aware and I'm cognizant of the fact that I know how to physically rest. Like, I know how to lay down and not do nothing, because I'm good at taking naps. But I struggle with full rest, like mental rest, emotional rest. I don't know how to rest in fullness. I know how to chill. Like, I know how to sit back and give my body a physical rest, but I don't know how to stop being so hyper vigilant, which I do recognize as a trauma response, because I've always had to be everything for everybody. Yeah. Because one of the things that I told her is that, like, I've come to this realization that in the next month or so, I need to like go on a sabbatical where I'm in a hotel or somewhere by myself in another city with my phone off, literally taking care of myself. And when she posed the question of like, well, you live by yourself, like, why you just can't chill at the house? And I'm like, girl, because I'm gonna be cleaning up, I'm gonna be organizing, I'm gonna be purging, I'm not going to rest. Like, I'm going to lay down, but I might look around my house and mentally I'm going to be going down a mental Rolodex of all the stuff that needs to be done, and that's not considered rest. So in order for me to fully rest, I have to completely disengage and remove myself from the familiar, which is why I want to go like to New York, I don't want to go to LA because I have family in LA. I want to go somewhere where I don't have anybody, where I can literally go by myself and explore and not feel.
You should go to Joshua Tree.
What is that?
I'm serious. Look it up. It's a place out in Cali, and it's like I don't even know. You really are like in the desert.
Oh, see, nah. I already knew where you was going with that. I want a
Just
more urban experience. Like, I don't necessarily want to disconnect and go journal. I just want to be left alone. Like, I said New York because I want to be able to get myself a hotel room in Times Square or downtown and go walk around and explore, take myself to nice people. Restaurants. I don't want to necessarily be around people, but I do want to people watch. I want to take myself to a nice restaurant and treat myself to experiences that I don't get to have by myself when I'm here. I'll say that. So I don't want to, not saying that I'm opposed to going away, because I do plan on glamping. My friends and I talk about that a lot, like glamping and taking like actual trips where we just go and sit in a spa or sit in a little cabin and, you know, relax. But this particular thing that I'm planning requires me to be in an urban area. That's why I keep thinking of cities like New York, Philly, different places that I can just walk around and immerse myself in culture and just, you know, just kind of learn and be away, but still be a part of something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I hope that you can find some time to plan and get away. But I think you said some really important things just now, and one of the things is the realization that you don't know rest from a mental standpoint. I empathize with that, and I walk in that as well. I definitely love me a good nap, okay? Can chill, can kick my feet up, but those tabs in my mind, they still be open. And it's rare that I have moments where I'm like, you know what, just don't worry about anything, because we both live lives where we're responsible for so much, you know, in the day to day. It's like, I almost feel like I can't really afford to close, you know, some of those tabs. Constantly thinking about, oh, I gotta do this tomorrow, I got a full slate this day, gotta reach out to this client, gotta follow up with this person, gotta be here this time, you know, all while working full time, being in school. It's a lot. So I'm gonna strive for that this month. That's gonna be my homework, where I want to be able to just take a day, at least a day, for me to shut off all those tabs and truly relish in the idea of rest.
Yes.
Well, not the idea, just truly relish in rest.
And that's why it's important. It's like you said, is I've always felt like, oh, I can't afford to turn these tabs off. But in reality, because of all of the things I've experienced recently within loss, and maybe this is my horrible, you know, dark humor, but like when I feel people pulling on me, like especially my family, and I know they hate this, but like when I feel them pulling on me and pulling me in different directions, like I'll just be like, well, what the fuck y'all gonna do if I die tomorrow? Like, well, we need you to do this next week. And I'd be like, so what y'all gonna do if I die tomorrow? Like, literally, people have to realize that it's a very like that's a possibility. Like, if people get mad when I say that, but it's a possibility that literally we can record this episode right now. You could walk out of here and you could call me tomorrow and I not be able to answer my phone. Like, that's real life. And so I say that to say that that's why I've been hell-bent on taking this time for myself, is because I used to be that person of, well, everybody needs me and I can't afford to. I can't afford to not do it, because if I don't do it, I'm gonna crash out on one of you niggas. Yeah. And I'm trying not to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, they have to learn to cope. Like, I think, and I was telling my therapist that today too, I think losing my son has made me care so much less about other people in other situations. And I don't mean that in a negative way or in a selfish way. I can't be everything to everybody. I have to stop trying to always under promise and over deliver, because that's always been my slogan. Like, I've always been I'm gonna help everybody with this. I'm gonna help everybody with this. I don't have the time. Like, one of my business partners texted me today about one of our properties. It's like, well, I need you to do this. You don't need me to do a goddamn thing. Like, I turned and said, you can't instruct me to do a motherfucking thing, okay? Because I have work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Why you
I'm
gonna
gonna
bring Ike into it?
because that's my favorite line from the movie is when they was in court and he was like, counselor, you need to instruct your client to take his sunglasses off in the courtroom. He's like, you ain't gotta instruct me to do a motherfucking thing. Because you don't. Because I can hear you. But that's the thing of, it was just I was so pissed when I read the message because you reached out to me to can you do this for our situation? And I'm like, I looked at the text message and I didn't respond because if I can do it, you can do it.
Right.
Your name on this business just like my name on this business, my brother. Like, let's be clear. Let's be honest. Let's be real. I go to work every day as an attorney. I come home and do other stuff. Like, I got stuff I got going on. Don't be texting me in the middle of the day like I'm sitting up watching TV eating bonbons like, well, can you draft this? No, can you draft it? Do your fingers work? Like, I'm at that point, and all of this has come about because I lost my son. Like, I wasn't a people pleaser, but I was a producer. I was a provider. I'm the person that, well, I can show you that I can do this. I want to show you that I work hard. I want to show you that this. Now, I don't give a damn about showing nobody nothing. Okay? I'm caring about taking care of myself. And all of that came from losing my son and realizing my entire world can fall apart around me and nobody cares. If I don't take care of myself, then nobody's gonna do it. And so I had to now put a hard stop on stuff. Rest. I've blocked more people since 2023 than I have in my entire life. And it ain't because of a direct offense or something. I feel like you don't respect my time. I feel like you don't respect who I am. I feel like you don't respect my choices. Okay, you don't respect it. I see the rules of engagement you playing by. I play by a different set of rules. Therefore, I'm gonna let you do me. I'm gonna do me. Like, I've just gotten really rigid. It's real strict around here. Okay. I've gotten really rigid with my boundaries when it comes to people and my peace and what I'm willing to deal with, because losing my son I already knew life was short, but that really put me in a different perspective because I never expected to live life after him. Like, I didn't know that there was a life for me after him. I thought it would be the opposite way around. And so now that I'm in this place where I realized that it could be me next, like, stuff can happen. I had to really take a hard pivot and do a 180 when it came to, like, really resting and knowing what I needed and knowing what was necessary versus, like, my mom would always say growing up, poor planning on your part isn't a priority on mine. And I used to be like, when you growing up, I used to be like, girl, you saying that because I asked you to go give me a poster board from CVS. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're mad because I want to do a project.
But it's the principality of it
But
all.
once I became an adult, I started to realize that it's, I've dealt with that with my brothers. Like, my brother will call me, ask me for some money today, and I'd be like, I can't do it. He'd be like, well, I need it tomorrow. But you knew 2 weeks ago you needed it on this day too, but you didn't call me up for the 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You waited till the night before. I deal with that all the time at work. We as attorneys, well, with the court civil procedure, we give somebody 21 days to respond to something. They wait to the 20th day to try to object. No, sir. We're not moving forward with that. You had 21 days to do this. You waited to the last day. Like, I don't like when people use their poor planning to inconvenience other people. And so because of that, I've realized that a lot of that was going on in my life, and I had to take the reins back. I had to say, like, no, girl, that's not important. What they need is not important.
I can attest to that too. And just, the ways that I don't have to, but I choose to show up in people's lives, people that matter to me, and my family, friends. I'm the same way. Like, literally, some of the things that you just said is like smacking me right on the forehead. But it also made me think about my dad and the whole situation around having to navigate the timing of his illness, and fast forward having to navigate grief, and when the smoke clears from all of that, nobody's really checking on you like that. I mean, you have some people that know and that actively have been in my corner, but you have this new layer of life that you're adjusting to, and the demands, they don't really stop. They seem to slow down a bit, but life literally goes on, and a lot of people in this world, they don't give a fuck. I hate to say it, but they don't. They don't. And most of the time, it's people that don't know you from Adam, and even if you were to share that side of you, I can't say that it would be any different. So I understand all of that. And I also just look at my dad's life in the way that he was always on goal, for people. And, being an immigrant, coming over here, coming from nothing, being a pillar in his family, and somebody who was just a great resource for so many people, and a person who worked hard. I've never known my dad to not work and be at work, every day. So to hear that, remind me so much of him, and the fact that, like, my dad rarely rested. He was always doing something for somebody. And a lot of times he was doing stuff that people didn't even know about, just a lot of good deeds for people that, he left unsaid, if you will. So back to my main point, prioritize rest, y'all. Full rest. If you have some time to shut those tabs off. And one of my sorors told me this recently. Like, we met up for brunch, and she was like, there's nothing in your life that's that serious that you should jeopardize yourself and your own self-care. Your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health is important.
Yeah.
And when she told me that, things just clicked. I really held that close to my heart, and I hold that close to my heart because it's true. She was like, "It's nothing that should jeopridize that should come in the way of that. Nothing or no one."
Yeah.
Prioritize rest. Get some sun. It's been real sunny these last few days in Michigan over the weekend, and hopefully we're gonna be having another switch in the weather where it stays sunny. But if y'all can get outside, pick up a new hobby, go out and meet some people, or not, if you prefer to just be by yourself, and that's how you get rest, and that's how you feel replenished, if you will, then do that too.
No, don't go out and meet no new people. No, I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't agree with that, with the notion of rest, and this is, and you're gonna understand what I mean.
Because meeting people is a responsibility that you establish,
and it's still an energy exchange. When I say rest, I need you to hoard your energy, and I don't know how to express this without using like a real weird analogy, but like, rest for me, when I think about rest in my wholeness, in the fullness of rest, like I'm trying to, like, aspire to have in the near future, I look at it like an energy cycle, like with chemotherapy, how they take your blood out, they cleanse it, they put it back. And I feel like that's what rest should be. It should be a reset. And sometimes that requires you, like, not taking in the energy of others. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people be like, oh, well, me and my homegirl went on a trip, and that's cool. But once again, that's an energy exchange between you and them. Like, I need you to settle in your own energy. Like, I need you to like who you are. Like, it's so funny to me that a lot of people will say that. They'll ask me, like, how do you go out to eat by yourself? How do you go to the movies by yourself? How do you do this by yourself? Like, easy. Like, if I don't like myself, how can I expect somebody else to like me? And so that's when I say rest. It's like resting in the fact of, like, not taking in any other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, just exploring silence and learning yourself. Like, go to a restaurant by yourself and decide, like, do I like to sit at the bar? Do I like to sit at a booth? Like, you usually go with people and they make the decision. Who are you? Who do you really like? And you can only do that when you're by yourself.
That's so interesting. You reminded me, one day I went down to Southwest to one of my favorite Mexican spots, and I went by myself. I just wanted to eat, and I wanted to be in my own company.
Yes.
Silence. I bought a book with me. I sat, I ordered my food, and I ate in peace. And I noticed that people were staring at me in a restaurant as I'm just sitting in this booth with my book, just casually reading. I order my food, I eat, and I take my time. I wasn't in a rush to do anything. And I just sat and read my book, and people were just staring at me. And I think they must have thought, boy, she looks lonely.
Yeah, and not knowing that you're happy. Like,
I was so happy. Like, it was so quiet, and it's like, this is a good time for me to just recharge and just enjoy some
And you have to have a
tacos.
hard boundary with that. So I remember, and it's funny because he's gonna listen to this and he gonna die. He gonna say something to me about it because he always do. But so I remember when me and Royce's dad like first started dating. And like I think like later, like months and months later, like down the line, like, you know, I got pregnant, stuff was different. And I remember one day he said to me, like, I said something to him about his feet because he's a runner. And he was like, well, you don't take me with you to the nail shop. And I was like, I don't take nobody with me to the nail shop, buddy. And he was like, what? And he thought about it and he was like, you went with your cousin at one time. And I was like, that one time. And so we actually had that conversation maybe a year or so ago. And I'm like, now we some years in. And he like, you really don't go to the nail shop with nobody? I was like, no, baby, that's my time to be quiet. Like literally, I love to go get my nails done by myself. And it works out so well now because my nail tech, she's a private nail tech. She doesn't work in a shop. She works in a private suite. So literally it can only be me in there. And sometimes me and her will talk the entire appointment. Like, you know, we'll kick it because I want some girl time. We'll want to catch up. I'll ask her about her life. We'll start kicking it. And sometimes I'll sit there and I'll come in and I'll be like, girl, I'm in the middle of listening to a good book. I'm in the middle of reading a book. And she won't bother me the entire time. She'll do my nails and I'll just be quiet. And I can, like you said, immerse myself in a book. I'm just by myself and I'm kicking it. I'm cool. And he never understood that because he was like, you don't ever take me with you to the nail shop. And I was like, I don't want nobody to go with me to the nail shop because I don't want nobody talking to me while I get my nails done. That's my sacred time. Like,
that's your safe space.
I don't have any other sacred time. Yeah, like that's my sacred time for me. And
it's so interesting that you bring this up because you just made me think to correlate it all the way back to my good news. I am creating that same safe space for people to have. It is my hope that people will have and utilize this space within the workplace. And because I just feel like sometimes walking away from your desk is just not enough. Sometimes closing the door to your office is just not enough. Sometimes you literally physically need to get up and be in a space where there are self-help tools available. It's a change of scenery. It's quiet. It's serene. There, the color concepts and everything that I've picked out in collaboration with our creative team, everything is very well thought out and strategically placed so that we create this immersive experience to give somebody that restful state that you're talking about of feeling like, oh, this is my moment to just reset and not have to talk to nobody and I have to hear a phone ring or look at emails or be on my phone. You know, so I'm glad that we have these type of initiatives like Mental Health Awareness Week. I'm looking at a post right now that says we're standing in solidarity with all of those who are feeling alone, supporting a friend, struggling with the condition, stressed about exams, too scared to ask for help, stressed about money, struggling to access support, grieving a loved one, or feeling lost. I think that covers a lot of ground for mental health and the different issues that people typically face regarding it. So I love y'all. Sending love and good energy your way through the airwaves.
Are we ready to segue?
Yes, we are. That was just I feel all warm and fuzzy after that.
I hate to do this to y'all because y'all know I can't stay. You know, I was all positive last segment, but you know, I'm just gonna say this. This is a very
her normal self.
So this is a my real sound check really actually goes with rhythm and groove, but we're gonna get to that in a second. I'm laughing because my friends always say I don't like nothing, and I will say I probably don't. I just really don't. Like I have a very rigid rubric, you know, when it comes to determining rubric. What I like. Yes, and I say that to say, you know, doing this pod has made me decide that, you know, maybe I need to step out of my auntie shell. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to stop being a hermit and like actually care about what's going on in popular culture. I say all that to say, y'all been on Prince Rogers Nelson internet for the last week. I done seen a billion gajillion statuses about how I done listened to Mariah the Scientist, Burning Blue, 30 times in a row. This song is so good. I tried to listen to the song the other day while I was in the shower, because that was my way of, if I put it on while I'm in the shower, I have to listen to it all the way through, right? Because I'm in the shower. Girl, 45 seconds into this song, I stepped out the shower, got my whole shower floor wet, so I could change this song, because this was horrible. The new song she got out, the only song, the Burning Blue song, like, that song is stupid. Like that song? Absolutely not. Why do people like it so much? It's just a regular R&B song. People make it seem like she done came out with some, I don't know, some real, I don't know what I was expecting, but I listened to it and I was like, this what y'all been listening to 30 times in a row?
So I think that is just a real testament to Mariah the scientist, the type of music that she makes, and the type of music that she or the type of people that she makes music for, her market, if you will, her audience. I'm one of them. and I really enjoy this song. I have been listening to it to try to like figure out exactly what she's saying, like what she's talking about in the song lyrically, but can't say I feel the same, Tash. But typically, you know, our music taste is just so different. It is so different.
Maybe because I'm just not a melodramatic person. I be feeling like that stuff just be so melodramatic to me. Like, and once again, I'm honest that a lot of people that like that kind of stuff, the art imitates life. I'm not into that because I don't be sitting around the house thinking about no nigga crying. You know what I'm saying? I like Jasmine Sullivan because I go put my hands on a nigga. I don't, seriously, like, I'm just not, you know, we was just talking about that just before the show, and I was like, you know, my friend told me don't ghost a nigga. I ghost you. I don't care. Like, I don't, like, when I say I don't have a high level of emotional fulfillment, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm cracking up because when
I don't care. No, like,
every time I think about you, I should make bust your windows your ringtone when you call.
Cause like I just don't be into that. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm trying to be in my lover girl era and stuff now, but I'm just one of those people that
will bust the windows out your car.
And I'm one of those people that I don't care. Like, I get what I want, and because I believe that, like, I truly believe that I get what I want out of life, and I feel like, okay, if you don't want me, I don't want you, and I'll move on. Like, I'm not about to be melodramatic. Like, I'm sitting at my window looking at my phone to see if you done called me, see if you done watched my story. Like, I don't give a damn. Like, I don't care what I done made up in my mind. And then too, let's be honest, I don't want to get into nothing too heavy. But actually, I'm going to use this to segue into this in a second. But I was about to say, I'm not trying to get into nothing heavy, but I tell people all the time, like, I have gone through spurts of time where I won't speak to my father, like my biological dad, and we the best of friends, but he will make me mad and I will not talk to him. Like, clean, my auntie and them could text me and be like, you talk to your daddy? Nope, I don't know that nigga. Like, I literally will not know you. So if I tell people all the time, especially men, if I can do that to the man that birthed me, that raised me, I could do that to anybody. Like, I could cut anybody off and it doesn't matter. So I think with the R&B, to me, when it comes to stuff like that, it's different and it's weird because I can listen to the old school stuff like the Toni Braxton and stuff because I grew up on that. That's different. It has a nostalgic feeling. But this new stuff now, I can't be getting with. Like, it's weird because, for example, I used to get mad at my nieces for singing SZA The Weeknd. Can't stand it. I'm like, I don't like that song. I just don't like it. But let me tell you something. I'll sing If Your Girl Only Knew by Aaliyah in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just different. And I know it's the same thing. It's the same subject matter.
So what's the difference?
It's only a difference because it's nostalgic and it's something I grew up on. Like, I can't take away. Like, when I hear those songs, like, for example, it's funny, but it's a warm feeling. I literally remember If Your Girl Only Knew vividly, because I vividly remember being like 6 or 7 and singing it in the kitchen at my great grandmama's house and her snatching me up saying, don't sing no shit like that in my house. And I was like, why? Because I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And she literally sat me down and was like, listen to what you're saying. And then I was like, what does that mean? Because once again, I'm 7. Like, what girl? What does she need to know? And then my grandmama started to explain it to me and I was like, oh, okay, you know, maybe that is kind of out of control. But also, once again, I can think about that song, and when I listen to it, I can laugh and be like, dang, I remember Grandma Frankie did that. Like, it's a more nostalgic thing to me because it's coupled with an actual memory. You know what I'm saying? Versus me literally being 30 years old when The Weeknd came out by SZA and me saying like, I ain't no nigga Weeknd. Like, I would absolutely not be.
But the same way that song, If Your Girl Only Knew, is that for you, is going to be that for someone else who's younger, which is interesting.
Yes.
I love me some SZA. I love SZA since SoundCloud days, before she ever got popping. And if you know, you know. Like, the people who know me have known me since like college. They know like I'm a true SZA fan from back in the day. But either way, now that we're talking about nostalgia, I actually want to bring up something for Soundcheck as well. I was actually listening to this artist on my way over here, and I actually have fallen down a little bit of a rabbit hole, just kind of going back into my preteen days, if you will. Omarion.
Oh, I used to love Omarion.
So
that's crazy that you say preteen, because I was in college when that album came out.
Wow.
So pause. Hold on. Don't mean to cut you off, but for the people that are listening, if you listen to our college episode a few weeks back, and I talked about a little situation I had in a vehicle, you know. He actually used to look like Omarion. I'm gonna have to show you the picture. Like, he literally used to have braids. Like, people used to say that around that time period. He used to have these stupid long braids. That's how I was like, I was able to know that was him in the car. When you lied and said it was somebody else, it was like, your hair is so distinguishable, sir. Like, so I was definitely in college around that time.
Well, I fell down this rabbit hole listening to Omarion, and of course B2K. And I was just sitting thinking on my ride here, like, remember when B2K had the girls in the chokehold? Like, they had that album Pandemonium, and I had that album. I still have that album, actually. But it was literally pandemonium whenever they would come around.
I never liked
them. Like, you didn't like them?
I didn't go through that phase, which is weird.
Because
well, no, even when I was around that age, like, my god sister loved them. My sister used to have B2K pictures all over. I used to always like rougher guys. I always thought the dudes in B2K was like girly. I just didn't. They were not gonna do it for me. Like, y'all got ponytails and shit. So, like, what about girl like girl?
Yeah, no. I don't know. They were handsome, and all the girls, most of the girls, not all of them, everybody had they one or they two that they just loved, or some girls like, no, I like all of them. They were pretty hot, I gotta say, for myself. Now, one thing I did notice, now that I'm older, looking at, like, really listening to some of their songs, and I'm like, dang, I really fucked with these albums. Like, we'll play these songs, like, play these albums top to bottom. I don't know if I would necessarily do that now. Can you throw it to me? Sorry, she got me looking at this picture of this young man. Oh, yeah. That's wild. He does, in fact, look like Omarion, y'all.
That's crazy, right? Like,
we needed to see the evidence. He does look like Omarion. But I don't know if I would listen to these albums top to bottom now as an adult. But some of the songs, like Happy, even if I hear or Gots to Be, oh, that's a great song. But to swing back to Omarion, the whole breakup of B2K was just so devastating. I feel like I might have cried. It was so devastating. Like, what y'all mean y'all not a group no more? What are we gonna do? Who will we be without B2K?
Who would the girls a few years later,
without B2K?
Y'all seen these lame niggas on Love and Hip Hop looking like losers.
Oh my god! Why you gotta bring that up?
Because that's exactly what I saw in them. That's what I'm saying. I've been tapped into my discernment for years. I knew as a young woman that they was lame. I knew it. I was like, don't let these soft eyes and these ponytails with the baby hair fool y'all. That's what is going on around here. And then look they got on TV and look what happened.
I would love to know. Like, I mean, they have shared like a little bit of what their experience was like being in the music industry and why things fell apart. Even with like Omarion, I'm curious to know like what happened with his solo career. Like, was it just hard for him to kind of break out of that bubble of being a teenager, you know, kind of being looked at in that way? I don't know. But I will say that first album, that shit go hard. And then I had to think about it. That single, you know who wrote that song? Was behind that song? Tank. And it all makes sense because don't play with Tank. Don't ever play with Tank.
What?
Tank is so talented to like. I listen to a lot of his music too, but Tank is so talented. And when I found out that he was behind that and so many other songs, like, this makes sense. But yeah, that was my my sound check. Like, I really fell into that B2K and Omarion, Loophole, and even like revisiting some of his other songs. Like when he was on Maybach Music, he had a couple bangers. Like I think it's called Love and Other Drugs. That was a banger. Amongst some others that I can't even think of the name of right now. But if I hear it come on, I'm going there. And I probably know all the lyrics too.
Now that one album I used to know, that's the one we used to listen to a lot in college. I can't think of the album name, but you know what I'm talking about, because the song and I gotta sing the song because we used to be my heart go boom boom tap obsession. That used to be my shit. What? Obsession. You ain't never heard Obsession by Omarion? My heart go boom boom tap. That song we used to be
Obsession. I heard Obsession.
Listen, that
was my jam though.
No,
Slow Dancing.
That album was so good.
Slow
like
Dancing.
that song. Yeah, what
I mean,
album?
You can't forget about Touch. Touch
That's
is
the
everybody's
album,
jam.
That's the album that I'm talking about. Touch was on that same album. That
You sure?
Yes, it was on 21 with Icebox.
No, that's the next album then.
So 21 is the one I'm talking about. 21 is the one I'm talking about when we was in college, because that was 2006. And that's the one that had Icebox on it, Obsession, Entourage. That's what the lead single to that one was.
I love that song too.
Yes. That's what that was. But yeah, so
hey, I'm trying to remember that song.
Yeah,
I'm trying to act like I wanna be with you,
like I'm just okay for you to walk away. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
See, so I like Work too. That was actually I think he was signed to Maybach Music by then. Work, that was a nice track.
So speaking of,
Supposed to Be is a little bit more recent, but
that's way about
Supposed to Be. That's
so let's go ahead and segue into rhythm and groove, because you just said a buzzword and we're just gonna move forward with that. So yeah, thinking of production and management and all that, as a fellow Capricorn woman, I find it very, and please don't take this the wrong way, because I hate to see women fight, especially friends, but I find it very amusing to see this lawsuit between Mary J. Blige and Misa Hilton.
What time your neighbors go to bed? That shit was loud as fuck. These kids are full grown adults.
They gonna be arguing.
My goodness gracious.
But so as a Capricorn woman, I'm fully invested, and I find it quite amusing that there's a lawsuit between Mary J. Blige and Misa Hilton, Brian. Right? Because I can't stop laughing, because when Capricorn women are honest with themselves, we are the worst when it comes to a man. Like, I know myself. And if I'm single for a long time and I get a man, girl, don't nobody matter to me but my man. Like, it's my man until it ain't no more. Like, Capricorn women, when you find somebody you love, you are like stuck to them like glue until you're not. That's kind of what I was just saying earlier. Like, we can disengage and disconnect very quickly. Like, you can be like, I can be head over heels in love with somebody on Tuesday, and Wednesday morning act like they don't even exist anymore. It can happen. I say all that to say, when you get down to the bottom of this whole ordeal between them, it's all because of their men. They're arguing, they're fighting over $5 million because Mary J. Blige's so-called man, or her piece of man, is a manager. And Misa Hilton's man is an artist, and apparently, I don't know if they were trying to poach him and sign him, or they had signed him and didn't want to help him like distribute his music or something. They were trying to hold the rights to the music because they didn't want to pay Misa. Misa is essentially her man's manager, so they didn't want to pay her, or they were trying to poach him from her and have him do direct management under, I think, Mary's boyfriend, or signed to Mary's boyfriend's label or something like that. So Misa couldn't get her 10% or 20% management fee. So essentially it's an issue over money, which Capricorns don't play about no money, but it's really interesting to me because they're best of friends. But all of this is because they trying to protect their men. And I feel like it's so crazy because at the end of the day, I know deep down, y'all probably don't even really want these niggas. Like, let's be clear. Like, I know how this works. Like, if this doesn't pan out like it's supposed to right now, 4 or 5 years from now, they gonna sit down and be like, girl, we was stupid. Like, why did we even do that? Like, we didn't even care about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be so minuscule in the grand scheme of things later on. And I think that's why nobody's like, people are bringing it up. Like, they haven't talked about it in the media, but it, you know, naturally things get out. And I believe when the lawsuit was filed, somebody from the court or from the clerk's office ran their mouth and said, oh, well, Mary J. Blige is suing Misa. And that's how it got around, that blogs and stuff started covering it. But if you pay attention, like, neither one of them has discussed it. They haven't commented on it. They haven't talked about it, because all of this is really about $1. And I think Misa or somebody was like, oh, I'll drop the lawsuit if y'all just go ahead and sign them or whatever. Like, they're trying to work it out, but it was one of those kind of like, Capricorns have a big problem with like, oh, let me show you kind of like attitude. It's like, oh, I told you so type of thing. And this was probably, once again, them going back and forth and arguing with each other as friends. Like, nah, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that. And when one of them didn't agree with the other, they was like, oh, well, we ain't gonna do it then. And Misa was like, well, I'll show you. I'm gonna sue you because I know you're gonna be mad about the money. And maybe, I guarantee you, neither one of them sees this actually going to litigation. This was probably a ploy of, let me do this to you so I can get you to give me the money, or I can get you to do what I want you to do, and so we can be friends again. So I just thought that was really interesting to get down to it, because I was like, Capricorns aren't really like that with their friends. Like, when it was a fight over money with them, I was like, huh? Like, how is that? So I started doing some more research, getting to the bottom of it, and I was like, oh, this all about y'all men. So y'all trying to protect y'all men. Like, okay, that's what it is. I see the Capricorn woman and you standing out, which is also interesting because, once again, Misa's a Capricorn woman, and regardless of all the stuff that we've seen and we've heard in the media, she was front and center at that Diddy trial yesterday.
Was she?
With a walker at that. Like, if you see the pictures of her, they was like, is she faking? Like, what is she doing? But once again, you know,
what's wrong with her?
I don't know.
Bless her heart.
But once again, she's standing for her man. That's the thing. Diddy might not be her man, but that's her baby daddy. And I don't know about other Capricorns, but I know about me. I don't play about mine. Like, I don't have the issues of a bad baby daddy like a lot of people have. So I'm not gonna let nobody play in my baby daddy face. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day,
she could have also just been going to be nosy though.
She had her son with her and all that other stuff. Like, she had, I mean, and I don't think she going to be nosy. I think she going as moral support because she walked in with all them kids. She walked in.
I don't know. I'm just,
with like that's what I'm saying. Like you walked in like you was trying to support him. But even if you don't, but once again, it was just really interesting. Like I was so like when they first said that Misa and Mary like they suing each other. I was like, what? Like it just didn't make sense to me. And I had to do some research and I was like, oh, this is over some dudes. And it's crazy because the dude that Misa is doing all this arguing about, if you listen to him rap, baby, trust me, I don't even know why Mary J didn't want to sign him in the first place. Okay? I don't know why y'all even want to sign him in the first place, girl. We not about to listen to that.
It's a lot of artists out here like that, honestly. And I'm going to say this once for all. If we ever fall out to that degree and we get into some type of fiasco over money to that degree, we gotta take this shit to court. Oh honey, we ain't gonna never be friends after this.
Nope. But rich people don't think like that. It
should never get that far.
It should never get that far. That's why I was so invested in it, because it was like, wow, how do y'all sue each other over $5 million? Like, this is crazy. But then naturally I try not to listen to the scuttle around certain things without knowing the true facts. But once I went and got the facts, I went back and looked at another post and looked in the comments, and people are like, this is bigger than the current men that they're dealing with. Like, people are speculating that this is deep down, once again, something that got to do with Diddy. You know what I'm saying? And it might, because when you think about it, Mary is one of the few people that haven't said anything about Diddy. She close to him. She cool with him. She know what's going on. Misa knows she know what's going on.
Shit. I mean, again, this whole situation is so dicey.
Yes.
And it's so multi-layered. And it's just so many perspectives coming out and testimonies. It's really sad to see from every angle, in my opinion. So honestly, when it comes to that type of shit, I just try not to read too much into it. It's not really my cup of tea, because I feel like it becomes too much, like, after a while, for me to keep up with. And it's just, I don't know. It's one thing to be able to, like, I feel like you can read something like that or like just want to know about it, but like me, it'd be a little heavy depending on what it is, and I just be like, you know what, I ain't even gonna go down that rabbit hole today. I'm just gonna go look at something happy, because I don't want to see people arguing about nothing. I want to see people like making peace.
Yeah, and that was what I was upset about too, because it was like, I ain't trying to be funny, but like, y'all are two badass women. Like, y'all are bosses in y'all own right. How y'all letting these two dusty niggas come and ruin y'all friendship?
I mean, we know women that
because if your man is, if he's like such a boss, why he got to use your friends? Like, I was with the Mary J thing. I was like, if he's such a good manager, he's such a boss, why he got to step on the back of your friends in order for his career? Like, he fighting over this dude's to sign with him, like he don't have no other artists. Like, what's the tea? Like, what's going on? Like, y'all letting these dusty niggas ruin y'all friendship? That's insane.
I mean, but I know women like that in real life.
Yeah, no, I do.
And I feel like everybody does. Like, everybody can think of at least one or two women that you like, dang, you got so much going for yourself. Why you let this man come and just ruin everything you got going? There's a lot of them in this world, unfortunately. Maybe that speaks to a side of them that we don't know. We don't get to see. Who knows? I do want to jump into rhythm and groove, because my homegirl brought this up to me. Shout out to Bam. Shout out to Amber. We went to go see Mariba. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. I should have added that to my my sound check segment, because she had a beautiful concert here in Detroit, and she's one of those artists that sounds like better than a record live. I don't know if it's no, I feel like you might like her music, because it's a little like, it's medicinal music for sure, but she also raps, and she be talking that shit, and I think that you might like it. So that's that. But while we were we had food after the concert, we were sitting out eating, talking, and she was talking about this post that she saw with a young lady saying that if you don't have kids if you're 30 and you don't have kids, it's a red flag. And I'm trying to figure out how. And I think it's so interesting that there are people in the world who think that way. And I guess it's all just depending on what our life experience is, the things that we place value on, especially when it comes to children, family, marriages, etc., and the way that we were raised. But
I don't think that has shit to do with values. That's a motherfucker being shady because they made some fucked up decisions. They mad because they 25 with 3 kids at home, and they're mad because you 30 and you're able to travel and you don't have to deal with that. That's essentially what that is. Because why would you care about when somebody else chooses to have kids? How is that a red flag for you? Because, for example, even at my big age,
I don't get it.
If I were out in the dating field, I require someone who does not have children. I'm sorry. I do not want to date somebody with no kids. So I don't give a damn. So it might be a red flag to somebody else, but to me, it's a red flag for you to be 30 with 4 baby daddies.
Yeah.
Like, huh? How?
Yeah. Perspective is everything. And so while we were talking about that, she and I had got into a conversation about it, and I was just sharing with her, like I share with all my friends. People assume that because I'm a doula that I want a bunch of children. They don't even just say, like, some people that I meet, oh, I know you just love kids. You want a bunch of children? ? No, I don't want a bunch of children. Mm-hmm. But I'm a person that is indifferent about children. At one point in my life, I absolutely would have said, no, I don't want any children. At another point in my life, absolutely want children, absolutely want to get married, want a family, the whole nine. Now, at this big age of over 30, of 30 something, I am completely indifferent. I feel like if children are meant to be a part of my journey, then I will have them and it'll be great. But if not, then that's okay too. But I don't want to place the joy of my life, of whether I feel like I'm living a full, fruitful life, on that. Because what if it doesn't happen? Am I going to live a life of just being ashamed and upset? But I think it's really interesting that because of the line of work that I'm in, people automatically assume that that's the life that I want for myself. And then you run into these types of questions and these types of statements by people, and sometimes I think that people just be saying shit on the internet for clickbait and really for conversation, if you will, for engagement. But the reality is there are people that honestly think like that, and your perspective, I feel like, does ring true. Some people do feel some type of way about their own decisions that they've made. And then the other side of it, I think there is a value perspective to look at and to acknowledge that we all are just different. We cut from different cloths, and some people place value on, having these things aligned and having it by a certain age. And I also don't think about life the way that I'm looking at it, where I'm like, I'm indifferent about it.
And then too, I think too, people don't realize that, like, that's why I made the comment to you earlier that I made before we got on air about, I don't like to talk to people about certain stuff because I could care less what their opinion is of it, because I'm still going to run my show a certain way, when it comes to relationships and certain stuff like that. Because when you think about it, like, I remember vividly having a conversation with my cousin, and like, she has multiple children. And her situation is her situation. Like, she's married, she has multiple children, and she asked me, like, and I know it probably came off kind of shitty the way I said it, And I apologize for that after the fact, but she was like, y'all used to take Royce a lot of places, blah, 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 before he passed. And she was like, did y'all ever want a lot more kids? Like, y'all only had Royce. And I was like, not necessarily. And she was like, why? And I was like, because, like, we had just had a conversation where I was like, she was like, well, I really want to take my kids on a trip, but it's expensive. And I was like, that's why I wasn't having a lot of kids. Like, girl, I want to live a lavish life. Like, everybody chooses different stuff. Some people want to live in a house with a lot of kids. I never wanted to. I wasn't from a family of a lot of kids, but see, she's one of 9 siblings. My mama had 2 kids and we 11 years apart. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to have all of that. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with the comforts of, I didn't have my mama saying, well, I can't give you this because I got to buy this for your brother. I can't give you this because I got to do this. And I didn't want to give that to my kids. So I was very strategic about the cost of living is not cheap. Okay. This is not 1990 anymore. We cannot just skate past with a little bit of nothing. This is, I had Royce in 2021. I can't just be out here willy-nilly having kids. We were paying $1,600 a month for daycare with a discount. I cannot justify having 3 or 4 kids in daycare at one time. And I am also a lawyer. I did not go to school and get $300,000 worth of student loans, bust my ass for 3 years on end to sit at home with a kid all day. I'm not trying to be funny, but I didn't. If I were okay with being a stay-at-home mom and having multiple kids just to say that, oh, I have a lifestyle of having a lot of kids so we don't have to pay for daycare, I would have never gone to school. But I didn't aspire that for myself. So I did want a family, yes. A big family, absolutely not, because I still want to be able to run these streets, practice law, okay? Like, everybody's things, everybody's desires, everybody's things are different. And I think in society, we have to stop condemning other people for wanting things that are just not aligned with what we want. It's okay for somebody to want this for themselves, and it's okay for somebody to want that for themselves, and those things don't mesh, and we should still be able to coexist. I've sat with women who are okay with not working, their husband paying all the bills, he being in control of the money, and they just live. That would never work for me. I'm okay with getting up and going to work while my husband get up and go to work, because guess what? I need to have my own money. I can't sleep at night knowing that I don't know how much money we got in the bank. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to call a grown man and say, hey, I'm about to go out with my so-and-so. I'm about to spend this much money. That ain't your business. You know what I'm saying? But I was also raised by a woman who moved in that regard. And so I don't know anything else but that. So who am I to tell somebody that the way you want your marriage to go is wrong? I'm not equipped to tell nobody that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I was saying earlier, when I was like, I don't like to have relationship conversations, is because what works for my relationship don't gotta work for yours. And me throwing my opinion on you don't make it better or worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like people should do what they want to do. So that's why I don't like it's a red flag if you this. Some people like that. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that I like to meet a man knowing that he had self-control and he wasn't out here just sticking his raw meat wherever and just doing whatever with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being honest. And I also understand that too, at 37 years old, if I were out here trying to seriously date, I have to understand that also at my age, people have been married and divorced with children. That comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the time. So with that being said, I just don't like to get into that of like, oh, well, this is a red flag. I know what I want. You know what I'm saying? And people have told me all the time, like, I remember people literally telling me, you ain't gonna find nobody, you over 30, how you gonna find somebody? Because I kept saying, well, I want to have my first kid with somebody who's also experiencing their first child as well, because I don't want them to discount my experience, saying, oh, I went through this with so and so, it was like this. And I did not falter, I did not settle, and I ended up with somebody who did not have no kids. Like, you get what you want if you don't settle for it. But once you start telling your mind, that's another lesson in manifesting, is once you start telling your mind, well, ain't nobody out here with no kids, then you're not going to find it. But when you keep saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to get, you have no choice but to attract that, because you set your mind up for it. And so that's just with relationships. So I just be telling people, you can get what you want. Like, everybody's relationship ain't the same. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't believe in traditional gender roles. If you want what you want, what might be a red flag to somebody else might be a green flag to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, I
you
think
never
it works
know.
both ways. And it also made me think, like, both of my parents, they have had more siblings than what I have. And my dad had 17 brothers and sisters. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. 12 of those children, my grandmother birthed herself. So the other ones were on his dad's side. But I feel like with that many kids, for me, how can I really get to know, like, all of my children, like, really know them, you know? And even as they're growing into adults, like, that's a lot of kids to keep up with and to navigate life with. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming to even think about.
Girl,
So
it's overwhelming, and I'm just the auntie of that many kids.
Yeah, no, and I'm not an auntie of that many kids by far. And you know, I have 2 god babies. That's good for me now. And like I said, if things happen that way where I'm, you know, blessed to have a child, cool. Or children, cool. If I'm blessed to not, either way, I still feel blessed. And I trust the timing and the trajectory of my life. You know, so much so that I can sleep at night being over 30 and not feeling like I'm a red flag. I'm a walking red flag. 'Cause girl, what? And also, I have so many other things, just like so many other women. There are so many other things, components to life that are just as important. You know, success to me is just as important. Education, just as important. Being a good friend, a good sister.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is why that don't bother me.
Important.
I had my first child at 33 years old, almost 33. I was 30. Well, was I 33? Yes, I was 33 going on 34. And the crazy part is I used to get that all the time. Like, I used to literally meet dudes and they used to be like, you ain't got no kids. Why you ain't got no kids? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me is I don't like dusty niggas and I don't trust y'all, so I don't let y'all up in me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it got to be wrong with me because I've made a positive choice? And that's the thing is, like you said, I value going to school. I wanted to have my career. I sat there in law school and I saw those women bust they ass. They had husbands and multiple children at home, and them husbands wasn't doing shit to help them. I had a classmate who was driving 2 hours back and forth to school every day so she could go home and make sure she helped her husband with her 2 children because he wasn't pulling the weight. I refuse to be that person. I refuse to not put myself first. And so I put myself first, meaning I fully got my education. I went, all of them, think about it. I took a few years off before grad school, and I took a year off before law school, in between grad school and law school. I could have laid up and had a baby then. Like, I could have laid up and did all kind of shit. I didn't, because I knew I wanted to go back to school and finish my career. And I knew I did not want to be up. I didn't want to get up as a single 30-year-old woman going to school every day. I definitely wasn't going to want to do it and have to change no diapers when I came home from school too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, but once again, I set my life up the way I wanted to be set up. And I valued my education. I wanted to get into my career. Like, you know, I was in my career working for the same place I work for now, you know, good state job, doing all of this stuff before I had my son, because I didn't want my son to suffer. But because people don't realize that, like, I don't want to bring a child into this world and suffer because I did not prepare properly, because I did not have myself together. That's not fair. Like, my mama had me when she was 17. She didn't have my brother until she was 28. It would not have been fair to me for her to turn around at 19 and have another kid.
Right.
Like, because then she wouldn't have been able to do for herself, let alone me, because it would have been 3 of us kids in the house together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you a teenager and 2 kids, like, that's a lot. And I don't think people realize that. Like, you don't have to let life happen to you. You can make your life what you want it to be. But I think people are so busy letting things around them dictate what happens to them. This episode of The Soulful Stir has been brought to you by Ladybug Organics. Ladybug Organics is a 100% Black woman-owned apothecary. Ladybug Organics offers a host of 100% vegan and organic condition and body oils. Ladybug Organics is known for their Tash Tonic stimulating hair growth oil. It is a 100% organic scalp oil that stimulates hair growth follicles as well as soothes the scalp. They also are known for their Mr. Beard Stuff, which is a highly sought after beard oil for the fellas, as well as their Body Slick body oils that comes in 4 different fragrances. Shop with Ladybug Organics and check them out online at www.ladybug with 2 G's, so that is LADYBUGG organics.com. Also, all of their socials are Ladybug Organics as well. They have a platform on Instagram as well as Facebook and would love for you to follow as well as shop.
Yeah, and also, I mean, in terms of letting things around them dictate what happens to them, it's also letting society dictate the value of a woman, you know, to that degree. Because a lot of times I feel like a lot of us, since we're children, let's be real, we're groomed to be housewives, to be mothers. You know, we get baby dolls and kitchenette sets and vacuums and aprons and all these things. And I think that those societal standards seep into many of us to where some people only equate their value of being a woman to being a mother. Yes. They don't seek anything else, you know, out of life because they've been taught that this is what you're supposed to do. You know, sometimes they seek their value of being a wife, you know, and that's it, having a family. And if that is what makes someone happy and they truly feel happiness taking that route in their life, then that's up to them. It's their story. But all I'm saying is it ain't no red flag if that's not your trajectory, if that's not the route you choose, because we're just as happy. I'm just as happy about the decisions that I've made, because Lord knows if I had decided to settle with some of the people in my past, yeah, no. It would be a really interesting time. Yeah. I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking on this podcast
and that's why I don't look at myself no different, because I waited. Even now, it's like I tell people all the time, because people will always make the comment of like, you will never let nobody watch him. You know, you always got your son. Y'all ain't never, you know, who your babysitter. We don't have one. Because we were both older. Like, we lived our life. You know what I'm saying? We lived the life that you're supposed to live before 30. You see what I'm saying? We were very selfish. After 30, now I've done everything I needed to do for myself. I'm in my career. The next step is to get a family. You know what I'm saying? It was a natural progression of things. It wasn't like, let me figure this out. But once again, I was able to do that because I was in my career. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to constantly need to shift and do this and figure this out so I can make stuff better. I had everything set before I had him, so I was able to focus on my kid. Like, people make it about them, but it's really about these kids once you have them. And that's the thing. I wanted to make sure my life was okay, that when I did have a kid, because before I didn't know if I was going to have one, but if and when I did have a kid, I knew my life was okay, that I would be able to sustain it. You know what I'm saying? That I could give my kid the life I wanted to. Like, I'm not working somewhere where I got to be there 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my career where I'm a hybrid schedule. I can take off work, take my son to the zoo. We could do different stuff. Those were the perks and the reasons why I wanted to wait, you know, like after a certain time, because I wanted to be mature. I wanted to be settled. Like, and
that remind me of when I was talking to my one of my mentors, my big sis. She was like, I remember when she got pregnant with her son, and he's a teenager now. She was like, I said, what made you have a baby? I was in high school when she had a kid. Yeah. And she looked at me and said, it was time. That's it. She just said it was time. And by that time, she had already established herself.
Girl, bye.
You know, she was, and then she had, you know, her education lined up, her career lined up. She had already knocked out everything else that she wanted to accomplish. And she was like, this was another thing that she wanted to do. She got married and she said it was time. Just as simple and plain. And I thought that was just so cool. No extra rhyme or reason to it. Just simply, it was time. And that's what she wanted to do. So, all that to say, number one, choose wisely. Number two, it's your life.
Yeah,
it's your nobody
because nobody has to deal with that. Like,
ain't nobody got up here helping you with them kids. That's on the internet for one. They're not gonna be up with you 3-4 o'clock in the morning feeding that baby. That's another thing, and I want to add this. For me, I have such a unique proximity to motherhood as a doula that I see everything that motherhood encompasses. And it's the things that people don't even think about when they're considering having a child, or they are inspired by their friends who are having children, or they're being pressured by society or their family to have children. I see the ins and outs, the smiles, the sadness, everything. So me having that up close and personal view of motherhood, from my own lens, and not having any children of my own, it makes you step back and think critically about
but it also, once again,
and appreciate moms in a different way too.
But that's why I look at it too. Like, people get so upset when I be like, I don't want to talk about this, blah, blah, blah. But it's because I have a different level of, I ain't gonna say maturity going into it, but like you said, I literally was pregnant at the same time, or pregnant like adjacent at the same time as multiple people that I'm like close with, as far as friends. Like, but they would call me and talk about their struggles while they were pregnant, be it with their partner, or even after we had kids. Like, I would hear, or even now, like, I see some of my cousins, like, I can't go because I don't have a babysitter, and, making all these decisions and stuff like that. And I never say anything, and they be like, well, why you don't say nothing? I'm like, because I don't know what that feels like. I didn't have that struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not trying to flex or brag when I say that, but like,
that's just your reality.
Royce has a really good dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would show up at functions and people be like, well, why Royce ain't with you? I'm like, he got a daddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are so used to women doing a lion's share of the work. It was so weird for them to see me still be able to thrive. Like, I remember being on the phone with my friends and she would be like, you always get some time for yourself. Yes, because I have a partner that values me and values me being whole. Everybody doesn't have that situation. So, like, it's easy for me to tell, like, I don't try to tell moms like what they should do when they, especially new moms. Like, I try to tell new moms, like, try not to lose yourself, but I don't know what it's like to have a newborn baby and a toddler at home as a single mom. You know what I'm saying? To not lose myself.
Right.
I was a mom with a live-in partner. You know what I'm saying? We both make decent salaries. I have flexibility at my job. We were both set up in a way that a lot of the struggles that other people had. So once again, I would be in spaces where people would be talking and I wouldn't have anything to add to the conversation, and people would look at me like I'm crazy, but I would be like, I don't struggle with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to sit here and be like, yeah, because I'm mad that when I got home yesterday, I don't know, like, I would just have to make up something because I didn't have those issues. Like, I could call Michael and say, listen, I want to go get my nails done after work. Can you go pick your son up? And he say, okay. Like, I didn't have to worry about those things. So I always consider that too, when people talk about like having kids and making decisions and, their village and things of that nature, because I didn't have to deal with a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that makes it a little bit difficult when I try to provide support for people when I can't relate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't relate.
That's not your lived experience.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. Well, that was a good talk. Good talk. Do we have counsel and confessions?
I I do have something that I want to discuss. A little something different than we talked about before, because I lost that. But since we're talking about relationships, just a little bit. So this is kind of interesting. So somebody says, my girlfriend proposed to me with a ring. So let's backtrack this. This is a male that is writing this. And this male is 25 years old. And the female is 35 years old.
Wow.
My girlfriend proposed to me with a ring that I do not like. It's gold, and I told her that I don't like gold. It's also blue, which is her favorite color. She didn't know what I would like, so she got something that she would like. Not to mention the ring doesn't even fit me. She has been engaged before, and she was with this person for 13 years. They broke up in March of the year we met. So I'm wondering, did she either, one, use the same ring that she proposed to her ex with, or just doesn't like me enough to care about what ring I wanted?
Okay, so let me back this all the way up. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Yeah, you got to reverse that one all the way back.
Because what?
First of all,
that's not how this supposed to go.
I'm not marrying no man. I'm not letting no man 10 years my junior propose to me, let alone me propose to him.
Same.
Because this ain't a 45
this goes back to
year-old.
our conversation from last week of what do we have in common.
Yes, because once again, this isn't a 45 and 55 year old. Because I can kind of see that, 45 and 55. I can give you that a little bit.
But not only are you dealing,
but 25 and 35, who I was at 25 is not even remotely close to who I was at 28, let alone at 30 or 35.
But not only are you dealing with a young man, but you're dealing with a young, ungrateful man.
But is it ungrateful really that you done told her outright? Because for one,
okay. But why is this happening?
That's the first question. That's exactly where I'm about to go with that. Because for one, maybe like we've had questions, like we've had conversations before where I told Michael, like, oh yeah, I like this kind of ring. I don't like this kind of ring. This is what I like, just in case it ever comes up. But this is me as a woman telling a man this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't think, and maybe we need to ask a man that. Do men, like, if I was to go and ask a man, like, do you like silver or gold? I don't think he's going to automatically assume that means jewelry or an engagement ring. You know what I'm saying? So
what if he said, I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold?
And then I would politely tell him, please walk out the door and lock them doors. Lock those doors.
Close the doors.
Close the doors. Close the doors.
Close the doors.
Behind you while you're on the other side of those. But I say all of that to say, like, I'm confused as to how did y'all even have this conversation for her to know that you don't like gold in a ring? You know what I'm saying? Like, and two, like, how you get somebody a ring that's too big? So that just lets me know that y'all didn't have a real conversation, or he didn't assume. Like,
it is a multi-layered like situation, even though like
so many things I want to just. You was just engaged to somebody for 13 years, and then y'all broke up in March, and in the same calendar year, you proposed to another man 10 years your junior with allegedly the same ring?
I don't know what's happening, if it's desperation or if it's, I don't know.
I have a family member. I'm just going to say family member. I'm not going to say the relation because I don't want to put this person's business out in the street. But I got a cousin. I didn't mean for that to come out. But
we here now.
So I have a family member that might possibly be a cousin. She proposed to her ex-husband. I'm about to say, ask me if they still together, but I just said ex-husband, so you already kind of gathered that it was an ex.
But honestly, even though we feel, and most people feel like that's not the way that this goes, right? It is all about perspective again, and what you feel. you desire in your life, and what's right to you, what feels right in your relationship, and what y'all got going on. I'm gonna say, for me and mine, in my house, absolutely fucking not.
I'm just gonna say this
because my perspective of myself and yours too, I'm the prize. For one, I'm the fucking prize. So I'm not getting on my knee and asking you for your hand in marriage. I'm not doing that.
So I said I wasn't gonna talk about this, and I'm not gonna talk about it, but I'm an asshole, so I'm gonna talk about it just a little bit. Because that's the kind of stuff, like, I'm not about to ask no man to marry me, because I need to know that you love me. Like, because what you're not about to do is 10 years later be sitting in a group of people telling people that you ain't never been in love with me. Because that's that's given. That's what that's given is I propose to you. Even though I know I was told in that situation that that wasn't the case. But when a woman, like, that's just what it's given. It's given that you gonna embarrass me later in life, and I don't want that. Like, I'm not asking no man to marry me, because if you want to be with me, you have to tell me that you're ready. Like, because being a wife, being a husband encompasses a lot, and if you're not ready for that, that's just like, for example, we always have that conversation, or they have that conversation on social media where they talk about, don't date. Men shouldn't be out here trying to date women if their personal life is not together. And I 100%, like, I 1,000% agree with that. Because how you're supposed, the whole point in dating is dating with the purpose of marriage. If you're to be my husband and I'm to be your wife, if you're to be my provider and my protector, and you're supposed to be taking care of me, if you can't even pay your own bills right now for yourself, and you can't take care of yourself, why are you trying to date me? And then if we're dating and you haven't proposed to me, I have to be woman enough, or I have to be smart enough to have the discernment to say that either I know that you're going to soon enough and something is preventing it from happening right now, or that you're not going to. And I have to know you to know, like, oh, well, my partner, he might not be asking me to marry him right now because I know he's in the middle of changing another job. He wants to probably get his stability together. But as a woman, when you go out there and you start disrupting the natural order of things, right, and you propose to this man, if a man loves you and he honors you, he might say yes because he doesn't want to embarrass you. But right, is he truly ready for marriage? No, because if he was, he would have asked you by now.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, I do believe that men have to be ready. Both parties have to be married.
Yes.
Have to be ready. But in order for that to go down, like, I need to know that this is what you want. This is what you truly desire. And that's that. I mean, on top of me being the prize. Like, yeah, I'm personally am not going for that.
No.
But again, some people, they don't mind it. They don't believe in that. And that's okay too.
Like, maybe I should ask that. Like, I should ask her next time I see her, like, why did you ask him to marry you?
But that, like, to be with somebody for 10 years, to take it back to that and feel like you're not in love with that person, that's a dangerous place to be. I pray that I'm never affiliated or involved in any type of way with somebody like that.
No.
Because what's the point of all of this?
Yes.
Like, I do believe that in time people do fall out of love with each other. And I think it's something that I think that love is a verb, and it's something that is it constantly needs to be worked on. I don't think it's just something that, like, you make a choice.
Well, you always love somebody, but I think being in love is cyclical, because I believe different seasons are going to bring different things out of people. Like,
exactly.
I always love you.
Be in love with somebody. Like, but again, because it's a choice, you make an active choice. When you make a commitment to be with somebody in the long run, you do make a choice to try, I would say, and get back on the right track. Sometimes shit is just not hitting the way that it used to. And you see people, some people stay together because it just works out in their best interest when it comes to finance and business and all the other stuff. They have too many things intertwined with each other. I know somebody like that now, like, and they're old.
Yeah.
And they told me, like, I was talking to one of them about their marriage, and she was like, we just got too much invested with each other. At this point, it don't make sense to get a divorce. She's like, but years ago, she was basically like, she wished she would have.
Yeah.
And that's
and see, I don't want to ever feel like that. Like, I don't want to.
I pray that I never get to that point with somebody, because it's just dangerous place to be. And I do feel like you do go through those seasons where you might not be fucking with that person, but if you're married to somebody and you love that person, you care about that person, y'all have, a family together, etc., you choose this path with that person, you're making a choice to at least try to make things work. But I do think that at some point you have to be accepting if things are just simply not working anymore. Because sometimes people grow in different directions, and that's okay too. But I'm never going to be okay with growing in a different direction than my partner. He's growing in a different direction, and we can't seem to meet back up, and we just stay in this cycle where, yes, we love each other, but we're not necessarily in love with each other anymore. Like, it's hard for us to kind of find that medium.
Yeah.
I think I'm straight on that.
No, I mean, it causes. I think it causes more emotional damage in the long term than we really realize. Like, because you're forcing yourself to accept something that you already know is not working for you. Like, and that's a really, like we said, it's a really dangerous space to be in. To just be willing to, like, I'm just gonna deal with this because I feel like I have to. Like, you don't have to,
you're suppressing your true feelings.
Yeah, like, we only literally have one life to live, and you got to be happy. And I just feel like, happiness is paramount. And I don't mean, like, in a selfish way, but I believe everybody's happiness is good. And I really hate the notion of, we're staying together for the kids, because what that says to me is that you think your kids are stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think your kids don't notice.
Are going to grow up and realize things. I know someone else who...
Yeah, you think your kids don't notice that y'all don't sit down and talk to each other. You think your kids don't notice the passive-aggressive
sleep in the same room.
Energy between the two. Yeah, like, that's toxic. Like, because then you're teaching your kids, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to stay with. Yeah, and I wouldn't ever want my daughter or my son. It's a lot of men out here that are being victimized in extremely toxic relationships, and they don't have a safe space to talk about it and to land, because we as a society has told them, you supposed to be the man, you supposed to put up with stuff, you supposed to provide, and if she mad and she talking to you a certain kind of way, it's something that you did. And that's not true. It's a lot of men out here that are good men who have horrible partners. They should leave, but they're stuck with the partner because they feel they can't walk away from her. They feel like, I have to stay, and you don't have to, because they feel like they're being less of a man by choosing their happiness. And that's not true. Men deserve to be happy too.
Yes, they do. And men especially are taught to, women as well, especially in marriage, taught to suppress their feelings about things, and you just chin up, chest out, you just deal with it like, it's going to be hard, it's going to be this. Yes, there's going to be challenges. I don't believe that you should just give up so easily. You know what I'm saying? If you really love that person and you really made this commitment, but again, sometimes you get to the point where it's like, okay, we can't get on the same page. Like, we have irreconcilable differences, and that's okay. You got to be okay with that. Otherwise, those suppressed emotions and feelings manifest in other ways. And you don't want me to go down that path of what that looks like for people.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's an interesting concept. That was an interesting confession,
because that's so weird. like as a woman, regardless of her being a woman and proposing to this young man, it's the point of, for me, my issue is,
I just said me.
Like my issue with this whole thing is just, why are you really trying to be engaged to somebody when you just got out of a 13-year engagement? Like, that's the bigger issue to me. How was you in a 13-year engagement, bruh?
I feel like that should tell us everything
we need to know
about the individual. You know.
So you were engaged because the woman is 35, the man is 25. So you mean to tell me you were engaged? You got engaged at 22 years old and was with somebody and broke up with them in the same year? You said, "Oh, I'm about to run this back," and found somebody new. That's almost the age that you were when you first got engaged.
Yeah.
And to me, that was what would have let me know, like, this ain't the person I need to be engaged to. Because obviously, you getting engaged at 23, you weren't ready. Because y'all didn't get married. Y'all didn't see it through.
Nobody's thinking here.
Nobody
has their thinking caps on right now. That's what we do know about this situation. Now, that's real interesting. I low-key wanted to talk to the lady and, like, see, like, I just want to know her perspective. I would love to, like, just sit down with someone like that and pick their brain and just, what are you thinking? Seriously, like, what's on your mind? What are you thinking? Well, follow us on all social platforms, y'all. Because we do keep our thinking caps on.
Because what I'm still like,
we also trust that you all keep your thinking caps on. And so we want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts on the show. We want to hear your counsel and confessions. Send us an email at thesoulfulstir@gmail.com. And also send us an email if you're interested in being a sponsor for the show. We would love to put your advertisements on air. Send us stuff. Yeah, send us something. Let's open the gateway for that manifestation.
Yes, please. Send us stuff. Communicate with us. Talk to us on our post.
Talk to us on our post and via DM. We do answer. We do check them. We respond. Send us. A few of you have followed us on social media, like our personal pages. My page is not private, but Tash's page is. All of that to say,
I feel like some judgment was about to come with that.
No, I'm just stating the facts. No judgment, just stating the facts. Send us a DM or send me a DM. I do respond if you want to chit chat. If you have any questions or ideas for the show, we would love to hear those as well. And we're on all platforms. I will say,
you can connect with me. Like, I don't know how to connect with me because I'm not gonna lie. I probably have like 150 unopened DMs. I got 81 open text messages right now,
and she got a beeper.
Yeah, I really don't. Like, when I tell y'all, I don't be checking no messages. Like, it's funny because I will be DMing somebody or like doing like sending reels back and forth, and I might just disengage for 1 second and like I'll come back and I have a whole bunch of DMs and I just get overwhelmed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I have a DM from somebody and it says like 4+ messages, I don't really open them because I get overwhelmed because it's like, oh my God, you sent me a whole lot of stuff. Like,
unless it's me, what? And she knows that I'm sending her.
Because I know we only be sending stupid reels back and forth, but when it just be random people, like, I don't know if they be responding to my story. You know what I'm saying? Like, what it be? I don't know. I just kind of be on my own world. Like, I'm trying to get better about that, y'all. Like, it's crazy because as much as I'm very business oriented and organized as far as like paperwork and things on paper and like legal sides of things and making sure boxes are checked, you know, I's are dotted and T's are crossed, I am very aloof when it comes to the rest of the world. Like, I take care of my business and the rest of the stuff I just be like, I don't know. People be like, when last time you did such and such? I don't know. When last time? I don't know. I really just don't keep up. So I say all that to say, if you listening to this and you done sent me a whole bunch of DMs on Instagram, I'm not ignoring you. It's not just you. It's everybody. I got DMs from my mama that I ain't open. And I talk to her on the phone every day. She be like, you just see what I sent you on Instagram? I be like, girl, I ain't looked at that. And I really don't. I just literally be kind of in a zone, trying to figure stuff out. I just literally be floating through life, y'all. Yeah, so that's my manifesto for this evening about contacting me.
Follow us on everything. We're at the Soulful Stir on all social media platforms except Facebook. We are not on Facebook just yet, but it's coming, I promise y'all. So yeah, thanks for tuning in with us today, y'all. We appreciate y'all. This has been another episode of the Soulful Stir. Later.